Hi everyone, and welcome to class. And today we are going to do a little bit of what we always do, coming home to our bodies in a kind and wise way that is deeply, deeply feminine in the way of movement. And what I mean, let me preface that, like, what is feminine movement? What I mean by that is a way of moving where we can find the place of softness and strength, where the two can meet each other and where we're not going into a gripping kind of strength. And a sense of coming home, coming beneath our skin to really feel into what we need, to be more discerning, to learn to feel what we need. And this goes back to our nervous system work, what I'm going to talk about next, is that to learn to reconnect, to rediscover, to feel what we need, it sounds like it's the easiest thing in the world. It's like, well, of course, I can do that. And yet, through our lives, we have learned to brace. We have at times been told not to trust our felt sense of what it is that we need to do. We have been told to sit down or to be quiet at times when actually it would be more appropriate for our state of energy to be running around or kind of being wild or silly or goofy. And so there's so much of our natural instincts that we've really had schooled out of us. And we need to come a little bit back to our more instinctual selves and to go on a bit of a pilgrimage. And today's quote, I think, is really perfect. I'm going to begin reading to you. It's about going on a pilgrimage beneath your skin. So here's today's quote. Before you can hear, much less follow the voice of your soul, you have to win back your body. You have to go on a pilgrimage beneath the skin. Let me read that again. Before you can hear, much less follow the voice of your soul, you have to win back your body. You have to go on a pilgrimage beneath your skin. One of the aspects of the nervous system work that we've been doing is learning about the ways in which we numb out. And if we consider numbing out, numbing is a lack of sensation. It is the absence of sensation. And it is through movement on this pilgrimage to coming home to our bodies that we actually start to notice the places where we've numbed out, because sensation returns. And the sense of coming home to the body sometimes feels like a revelation because we don't realize just how far outside of ourselves we've stepped, because we have become so accustomed to adapting to manage and get on with the things, the facets of our lives which are more difficult for us. And so let us continue this practice of coming home to our bodies and just knowing that this is just a daily practice. We live in physical bodies in busy worlds, and it is just with great wisdom that we cultivate a practice which becomes a sanctuary, not just for creating more strength, more flexibility, but a sanctuary for our well-being at a deep, deep place that is really coming home to the you. And when you come home to yourself, that is the place. It's like the wellspring, a wellspring of energy that gives rise to health and physical and mental and emotional wellness. The wellspring, we can only come back to that wellspring from which health and energy arise by creating a sense of spaciousness, balancing the nervous system, and doing the work to recalibrate, to come home to ourselves. So it is, for me, inextricably linked, the journey of getting recovery from injuries to the journey of coming home to our soul. It is impossible to separate the two. So please join me in today's class. which I am actually re-recording because I was kicked out of Zoom while I was teaching today. So I'm just going to record a short class. Today we're going to do a couple of movements, and we're going to start off with our star movement. So today we're going to make the star movement quite strong. And as we make the star movement strong, find the places where you start to be like, oh my God, I really need this movement. I want to stretch that little bit too far. Don't stretch too far. So bring kindness and softness alongside your movement practice that you do with me. And let's find a way of just bringing softness to meet tension. And so working at this edge, discovering that edge where you maybe would naturally go into gripping your muscles and trying to keep a place of tension that has a certain sense of spaciousness and softness. So we're going to, in magic, our index and middle finger, and you're going to use whatever is your dominant hand, and then you're going to use your non-dominant hand. And you're just going to connect with the sense of the space around you, connect with physical movement, just drawing a star, just a 5-pointed star. So just drawing the outline of a simple star a couple of times. And then let's use our other hand. Let's find our star. Imagining that you're painting with water, that you're leaving an imprint in the air around you. Let's use our other hand again and just go backwards and forwards. Years ago, I taught yoga in London, and I had this dusty church hall. And to start with, just felt I was a little scared of going there because it was 7 o'clock at night and rainy, dark evenings in England. I would be going to this place where I had to kind of go down this alley and to get to the entrance of the church door and get there before everyone else. And there was a stage in this particular room, and I had to go behind the dark curtains, drag out the yoga mats. Anyhow, after months of teaching there, to me, the energy suddenly changed and it felt more peaceful and more good. So what you're doing here is you make your little star. Now I want you to make little stars now. Really tiny little stars. Now just imagine you're decorating the space around you. It's little decorations of stars. You can reach your arms up a little bit just to get some movement. I want you to start creating your sanctuary, because as we bring our intention and our kindness and our love into the space around us, I believe we start to change. We leave an imprint where the space around us feels better. Now I want you to do big movements. So this is going to be our warm-up practice. Come a little closer. So I want you to reach right down to the floor and separate your legs, make this wide, and notice this gripping. Don't do that. So make it kind of soft, but lovely, and a big movement, stretching down to the other side, twisting around as far as you can, so your style becomes curved and a little bit three-dimensional, twisting around to the other side, and then coming back down. And then just do that big kind of sweeping movements with a little bit of a swing in your body to start opening up, noticing the clicks. Let's do a few stars with this arm, and then we'll do the other arm. Opening up the body, getting a really good twisting. Opening, feel the side ribs opening. And draw into the space around you, imprinting whatever you want to bring into the space around you, as though you can just cultivate peace, beauty, clearing, decluttering. Let's use the other hand now. So reaching down the other side, up as high as possible, opening side ribs on this side, down again, twisting and twisting more fully now to this side, and back down. Let's do it again and again and again, a bunch of times, really just getting warm up movement. And just noticing how you can have this dual intention of getting the physical stretching and expansion that we need, as well as finding a sense of something quite beautiful, graceful, and very creative. Okay, now let's actually do this in the way that I was taught it, which is actually a little ceremony. And so you are going to, let's bring the hands in front of us. So palms down, just feel the air beneath your hands. Walk around, make a little circle. And as you make your circle, just get a sense of north, south, east, and west. And you're going to imagine with your hands that you're smoothing the crinkles in the air, clearing, dusting the space that you're in, be it your garden, your office, your bedroom. Clearing it, making it the kind of place that feels like a sanctuary to you. And as you know from the nervous system work, our bodies at a deep level need to know safety. And so when we do ceremonies, we cultivate safety. We remind ourselves at a very deep instinctual level that there is safety. And when our nervous system, when our brainstem, when deep within the brain, the parts of the brain that respond emotionally, when they know that we are safe, when we give that to ourselves, then we can open to more health, to more flexibility, more comfort. So now find your east, find your sunrise. And I want you to draw a star with your dominant hand, facing to your east. And we're going to draw a circle, create a circle of safety, circle of protection. And then with your arm, you're going to reach back and you're going to bring your hand through and imagine shooting a light beam out through the center of that star, connecting it to the next star facing south, turning a quarter turn. And then drawing a star, big or small, slowly, with attention to the space. And then bringing your arm back and shooting like an arrow, light through. And then take a quarter turn to the west. Star. And taking a quarter turn to the north, and same again. And then bringing your hand back, and go in a circle where you are smoothing the energy, imagining that you have the ability to cleanse and clear. So you can call forth as though you're letting go of any stress that you're holding, anything that's clouding your mind or your heart, any forgiveness that you need to bring to yourself or others. Just imagine that here it's all laid out in front of you. And even you might feel in the space around you like a little something, so the texture of the air is slightly different. Imagine you can just clear. You can clear and cleanse and make your space good and bright. Let's go the other way. So let's bring the other hand, just reconnecting with this space around us. And you can imagine that you're drawing a great circle of light just directly around you, and that light can expand out to the corners of your room. You might even have the perceptual ability to let it expand even wider. And then just letting that go. And come to a standing position where you will have your hands as though you're holding a staff, a walking stick under your hands, just at the level of your chest, solar plexus. So lean slightly forwards as though you're leaning against a walking stick and feeling the connection of that walking stick to the ground. And then let your elbows relax and pause for a moment. Imagine yourself to be on a hilltop with a great view around you. And connect to the peace and the spaciousness that that great view gives you. And feel the energy around you, the space around you to be clear, to be cleansed. Know yourself to be in a safe sanctuary. And then let's begin. Let's begin with a little joint circling. And I'll do this a little bit differently today. So our joint circling becomes a slightly different practice. We're going to go into a figure of 8 with our hands. And we're going to let our hips move. So we're going to take the legs a little bit wider apart. We're going to reach the arms. So we get some good side to side movement. As you reach, just notice the shoulder tension that supports your movement, but notice whether you need to go less or whether the stretch feels good. Work within a range of movement that's comfortable so that you cue, you repattern comfort in movement into your nervous system, which is very restorative, especially to help undo pain patterns. We give ourselves comfort in movement. We start to nourish our movement patterns and be able to do more. And then let's go in circles, sweeping circles. And your arms are going to go behind you a little bit. So it kind of is a kidney-shaped movement. And then go the other direction. And as we sweep the arms, let there be a bit of a swinging. And notice how that frees up the shoulder joints. If we let momentum, just as we do in this movement, where we let momentum take us, then there becomes this freedom and spaciousness in the shoulder joints. It's really nice. Let's do that. Good. And then I want you to go into this movement. And to do this movement for 2-3 minutes. So keep doing this movement for a moment. So what I actually want you to do is just to pause this recording and do this movement as long as possible. I actually just paused the recording because I had the rich aroma of coffee because I'd forgotten that I put my coffee pot on. Anyhow, so you're going to do this movement a couple of minutes. Now that you've done that movement for a couple of minutes, I want you to go into this movement which we've done a couple of times. So there is going to be a sense of fingers releasing tension from between the ribs. And we're going a few ribs at a time. So your fingers hook in, and if you know your anatomy, you'll know that the rib joints connect to the edges of your sternum. And so as you're hooking in and just releasing the muscles between the ribs, intercostal muscles, releasing tension right up to your throat. And then you're going to go down and you're going to imagine that your fingers connect in right through your body to the back where your ribs meet your spine, reaching in and releasing. Imagine your way beneath your skin into the back of your body. And then just going all the way down to the lower ribs, right down here, releasing these ribs that go down here. They all connect up here, and then we have a couple of floating ribs. So let's into the hands through here and release. And then let's bring the hands way down, one after the other, right against your skin. Feel your way into your throat, into the esophagus and trachea, breathing pipe and your food pipe, imagining that you are releasing tension deep within your body, for your airway, and for your digestion. And then bring your hands here, right to the solar plexus. One of the things I think I mentioned in part 1 is that when our diaphragm is tight, it actually pulls the stomach up against it. And so sometimes when you get reflux, it's because you have too much tension in your diaphragm, which has acted like kind of a suction pump to pull your stomach too much. So here, let's just massage at the base where we find the bottom bony bit of the sternum, right there. And then a little bit down. And find your kernel of tension. For me, it's right in the center. It might, for you, be a little over to the left. A little over to the right. And then pause and get your fingers in and breathe. Breathe in and out, letting your fingers go a little bit deeper. And as we release tension from this part of the body, naturally the tension that we have up top softens. We actually don't even need, it's useful to do work up here, but actually so much work to soften these muscles of the shoulders and chest and upper back can happen by doing work in this part of the body. So next time you go for a massage, have your massage therapist work on your diaphragm. Good. And then bring your hands to your belly. And I want you just to make circles. And just as you do this, tell yourself that it's okay, you're okay. Our guts tighten up emotionally when we feel that we're not okay. So bring that self-love to your body, to your guts. Beautiful. Hands to your hips, big hip circles. And hip circle the other way. Round movement, really round movement, flaring the buttocks behind you, swinging the hips out to the side. And then let's see if we can make a figure of 8. So can you do this movement? So one hip swings forwards and the other hip swings forwards. And as I do this, I'm actually letting this heel rise so that I can do that. The other heel rises, I can do that more easily. So the swing, and then the swing, keep breathing, swing, move your hips. Good. And then bring your arms out to the side. We're going to get a little bit dance-like. We're going to pop the chest forwards, bring it back to normal, and then hollow it out by pushing, becoming kind of concave through here. So push forwards, normal, push back, normal. Forwards, normal, push back, normal. Forwards, normal, push back, side to side. So it's just your hips, sorry, not your hips. Your hips are not moving. Your rib cage is going to move side to side. So we're finding, like dancers do, this movement, but not, I can't even do it now, but not your hips. Try and keep your hips still. So sideways, normal, other side, normal, sideways, normal, sideways, normal. Ribs, you can even bring your hands here. So there's this movement, kind of pushing, shove your rib cage over, side to side. Just create that movement. Now see if you can do circles, just with your ribs. The first time you do this, it's probably a little awkward. Circle the other way. And just feel such a nice mobility exercise. Notice which side is a bit restricted. For me, as I do this, it's really easy to go here, and then I get a bit stuck over this side. Try to keep breathing as you're doing this. Good. And then let's go into a forward bend. So I'm actually going to use a wall for this forward bend. So I'm going to lean against my door here. And I'm going to stick my hips against the ground. And then I'm going to lift up my butt a little bit higher. My feet are about a foot in front of me. My knees are a little bit bent. And then I'm just going to hang forward like this. If you want, you can have your hands on your shins. Sometimes the forward bend is too strong. So we have two options. You're either hanging in a forward bend, and I want you also to try this option just to see which is better. Your hands are on just below your knees, or it could be on your knees, but I think probably because we are already, I think low enough, the hands just below your knees on your shins. And then, or even down on your ankles. It's more of a forward movement. You can see how flat my spine is. And what I'm trying to do here is just create some space through here. So I'm pushing against my legs and I'm pulling my chest forwards. My shoulders are not near my ears, they're spacious. And I'm lengthening my neck, looking down at the ground, and imagining that my head, the crown of my head, is being drawn forwards to create length. Just holding here, or if you prefer, coming down into this position. And you can hold onto your elbows like so, and just hang forwards. And just give it a little bit of time. If it feels good, feel free to pause the recording, because this is a shorter class, and just do this for a couple of minutes. The third option is just to hold your ankles and just be able to kind of be a little bit lower. And then let's do it a little bit wider legged. So you're going to do the same thing, but you're just going to open your legs wider. So in this position, you can still lean against the wall, and you can hold on to just below your knees, or you can put your hands down between your feet. So the two options is to be creating the same things before, and you want to feel the wall behind you. So you may want to bring your feet slightly further forwards so that you can lean into it. And so we have these two options, and you can do both. There's time for both movements where you're just, the legs are wide apart. And you want to create balanced tension. Balanced tension is really the key word, where your kneecaps are slightly lifted. You're pressing into the inner arch of the foot, pushing the ground away from you. And then your body, you're lengthening your body forwards. But also try to find the sense of softness in this movement, which is going to feel different. Softness may not be the right word for you. It may be a sense of that you are supported in this movement, that you're not hurting yourself, or just cultivating an emotional sense of kindness and noticing how that informs you. And then lowering down, let your head hang, put your hands between your feet, palms on the ground. Long breaths in and long breaths out. And then slowly coming up. Bend your knees as you come up. And because you've got the wall behind you, you can push your hips into the wall, and that can really help take strain out of your back, coming up, slowly bringing your feet, edging them closer together, and then coming up. Pause for a second, maybe just walk around. I'll have a sip of my coffee. The coffee that I'm drinking comes from my friend's farm, which is in the crater of an extinct volcano. How cool is that? All right, let's do some heart movement. So we'll just do this heart movement and then we'll finish class for today. So we explored the crane in our last class, and you may already have had a look at the videos. Yesterday I was doing a practice and I brought a little bit of something different to the practice, which maybe I'll bring in now. Let's see what happens. So we bring our fingertips together and we make the shape of wings, and then we are going to fan our hands. Let's do that just a few times. So we come into such beauty in this graceful movement. And to me, this kind of graceful, rich feeling that I have as I do movement, it feels totally ordinary to me. And I was teaching a friend of mine the other day. I had no concept of feeling grace in movement, and it was such a surprise to me, because I feel as though all of us should just know how to have this. So hopefully you do, and you can cultivate more and more. Because it is, I hope you're feeling as you do this, a richness in the movement. And if you're not feeling richness in the movement, I promise you that in a very short time you will. We're going to bring the right leg up, and we're going to take a step very, very, very slowly forwards, and our arms are going to cross. And then we're just going to let that go. We're going to step back. And then our left leg picks up, lifts up. We make this movement, we take a small step forwards, the heel, the ball of the foot, the toes strike, and the arms cross, and let that go. Step back. The right leg lifts, and we take a small step, and we cross the arms. And this feeling of love and protection comes in, and then we just let that go. The other side. Stepping. And then releasing. And now bring the other leg through. So this becomes just a walk, a very, very simple walk. And what I was teaching before and in the videos is more complicated. But just for this moment, let's just step one leg at a time and just simply wrap these wings around us. And just walking through your space. So one step, one leg lifts, and you step, and you bring the arms through. I'm just going to shuffle back a little bit. I want you just to keep walking and find your rhythm. Step in very slowly. Go slower. As you release your hands, you come back just to the beginning, drawing these strands of energy like cobwebs up. And as you step and your hips move forwards, your arms wrap, and you feel the safety and sanctuary that you crave for your heart. Stepping the other leg, and just bring the hands across. Stepping. And I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do this. Try to do it for a couple of minutes, walking around and feeling the ease of this movement pattern coming in, and see what happens when you stay with it for a couple of minutes. You really settle into the movement, and you might find yourself doing it for 5 minutes. So again, just to remind you, we have the hands together, fingertips coming together, the right knee lifts just a little bit, the arms come up, and then the fingers separate and open, and then the palms and wrap. We bring all our weight onto the front foot. We pause just for a second. Let it go. Fingertips lifting as the leg rises. Fingers opening, brushing the air like wingtips moving around you. Pausing. Let it go. Stepping. And stepping. I'm going to give you a sneak peek, which you can do with me, or you can use as a resource to show you the full movement, which over time becomes just so natural, and it is the one kind of energy movement sequence which has a little bit more strength and balance to it and flexibility. So here it is. This is the full crane sequence. And we bow. And then there is the rising. We come onto the front foot. And the hands come down in front of us. And there's a step where the back foot comes to meet the front foot. The arms go up and around. And then the palms come down through center. And then here we actually shift our weight and we come into a balancing posture. And then we step that foot down and we bring the hands up and through into this very beautiful heart movement. And then the arms go around. And then we make quite a big sweeping movement. So towards the back leg, up, and then into an infinity symbol or a great figure eight. The arms coming up again, as many times as you want. And then coming back to the beginning. So there's this step. The arms wrapping. And then there is the first bow. And then we come onto the front foot. We reach the arms up. And then the hands come down through center. We step this foot forwards. Or shift our weight for a moment onto the foot we've just stepped onto, and then back onto the left leg and into a balance. And then the foot comes down behind us. We shift our weight onto the back. Arms come through and we have this gesture. Arms coming behind. What we're going to do here is we're going to do this big movement. Swinging the arms up. So we're following a figure of eight and then bringing the hands down. Leg steps up, and we step, and we wrap the arms, and then we bow. And then we're going to bring our arms up, and then bringing your hands back down. Arms coming up, stepping forwards, shifting your weight over to your left, back to the right, into our balance posture. Stepping onto the back foot, bring your arms up and then gesturing. Arms are going to open, and then we're going to create a figure of eight with our arms in this very beautiful dancing way. Bring your hands down. Let's do that one more time. Sweep the arms up. And then bring the hands back down. Make a circle, just step forwards this leg. Hands come in front, we shift our way over. Balancing, I'm losing my balance. Step back, and then bring your hands up and through this beautiful gesture. Opening out to the side, and then let's go into a figure of eight. And then let's make it really simple to untangle our minds from learning a new movement pattern. Let's just go back to what we know. So the right leg rises, and then we step, and we're going to wrap the arms. Let that go. Lifting the leg, stepping. Arms come through. Stepping again. Let's do that a few more times. I'll do that with you so that we just come to the simplicity of the movement. And as you do this, really, really slow it down. Really pay attention to cultivating energy, to cultivating compassion. And notice the emotions that may be arising and make space for them. Let's do one more step. And then just bringing your hands to your heart. And take a little walk around your space with your hands on your heart. And then I want you to come have a seat, and I want you to grab a notebook. And we're going to do a little bit of little journal inquiry. Little journal inquiry like we did in the last class, where you're going to imagine that you have pots on your stove. And we have a few pots. We're going to have a pot that's for our mind, a pot that's for our body, and a pot that's for our heart. What does our heart need? What does our body need? What does our mind, your mind need, and my mind need? And just think about the next few days ahead of you and the things that are in your day. And as you notice it, try not to clench up if it's full. Think of it in a creative way where we're exploring the pots that we have on our stove, which includes as well a couple of other pots of the things that are scheduled and happening. But in between the scheduled events, or early in the morning or late at night when everyone's asleep, or when you can sneak away, what do you want to put? What do you want? What is your desire? If you were to follow your desire, what would you like to put in the mind pot? What would bring curiosity to your mind? A good book, a new book, podcast, a little bit of learning about science, neurology. What might be good for your mind? Just write down a couple of things in there. What might be nice for your mind? Just make it small and achievable for the mind pot. Let's move to the body pot on your stove. What does your body need? And what can you give your body? Can you do a walking meditation in your garden, outdoors? Can you go quietly by yourself and do a little bit of movement? Can you banish people from your home because Lucy gave you homework that you have to hand in? Do your movement practice. What does your body need? Or is it, do you need to go out and buy some supplements? You need to get some good magnesium to help release tension from your body? Do you need to go get some more greens to make a green smoothie today or tomorrow? What does your body need? Do you need to book a massage? What does your body need? Maybe if you've been struggling with any of these movements, maybe booking a one-on-one with me, it could be something good for your body and your mind, and soul too, perhaps. Okay, let's explore our last one, which is our heart. What does your beautiful heart need? What does your noble heart need? What does your kind heart need? And it might be amorphous. Sometimes what we need is actually more color or a sensation. And if we can't get that sensation necessarily from somebody else, how can you give it to yourself? Is it tenderness, kindness? What does your heart need? And to explore this, let's actually just bring our hands to our chests. And just imagine a flame flickering under the skin of your chest, under your sternum. And feel the pilot light of your heart flickering steadily, always burning. And know that your good physical heart is beating, 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 doing its job, moving blood around the body, supporting you as best it can. If you need something to support your heart, hawthorn is a really lovely herb. You can steep it as a tea, really nourishing for the heart, physical heart. And then if anything's come to you, you can pick up your pen and write what you might want to put in your heart pot. And if it's hard to bring to mind what you might need, you could just draw a bunch of little hearts inside of your heart pot so that your heart pot is full. And then I'm going to read to you the quote that we started class with. So we have our way in and our way out of class today. Before you can hear, much less follow, the voice of your soul, you have to win back your body. You have to go on a pilgrimage beneath your skin. I'll read it again. Before you can hear, much less follow, the voice of your soul, you have to win back your body. You have to go on a pilgrimage beneath the skin. So just bringing your hands to your chest and setting the intention that this day ahead of you be a pilgrimage. A pilgrimage of curiosity and exploration. A pilgrimage in the place where you are, without necessarily having to leave your home, without having to make different plans. But if you bring the intention of pilgrimage into the day ahead of you or the night ahead of you, you can shift into a state of curiosity. A state of wonder and sacredness. And perhaps find a little pot of energy, an untapped energy to draw from, to draw health and inspiration from. So just imagining before you a wellspring arising that you already, through the intention of creating pilgrimage, have arrived someplace special to your soul, to your heart, to your mind. And there before you, a spring bubbles up with energy that is yours and health that is yours. And the access opens within your body to health, to energy. And the energy and the health rise up through you, circulate through you, through the pathways that are already present of your circulatory system, out through the network of your nervous system. See and feel that energy flowing through your body, Imagine the places that are where the energy, the flow, the health, where it is dammed up or stuck. See the energy flowing and releasing the blockages. Imagine this incredible network within you that is your circulatory system, that exists in your real anatomy, in your real body. It exists right now. See the energy flowing, imagining it maybe as a color, liquid light moving through you. And bringing health to all the nooks and crannies through your body. Take a breath in, nice exhale. Breathe so that your belly moves with a sense of fullness and roundness. Exhale. Breathe again and feel your buttocks, your groin, your pelvic floor relaxing. Feel yourself even more coming home beneath your skin to your body with gratitude. I will see you in our next class.